Hello, my name is Bree, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Breezy Banter, the place where I talk about the things I want to talk about. In today's video, I'm doing a continuation of the series of videos that I have here on my channel, where I discuss my experience with a particular indie perfume house. Today's video is going to focus on the house Smelly Yeti. What I normally do in these videos is I'll tell you the name of the perfumes that I tried, whether I received it as a free sample, what I rated out of 10, whether or not I want to full size it, the notes as described by the house, and then my personal experience. After I go through each individual perfume, I'll tell you my overall experience purchasing from the store, as well as any issues with customer service if applicable, and then I'll tell you who I think the shop is good for. And before we start discussing the perfumes, I always think it's a good idea to preface my videos stating what I like and dislike in perfumes. In terms of what I like, I enjoy very sweet-leaning gourmands. So if a scent has notes such as vanilla, cotton candy, sugar, or lime, that tends to be a hit for me. In terms of notes that I think are just okay or can be more hit or miss, include most fruits, most florals, and musk. And then in terms of what I dislike, this often includes notes such as rose, pumpkin, incense, wood, or anything that can be described as masculine. Of course, there are exceptions to these. So with that in mind, let's get started. The first scent that I have here is Age Appropriate Drinks, which I rated 6 out of 10, and I will not be full sizing. The notes are smell like that mix of grape soda, root beer, and orange juice. That's a bit of a weird description. I'm realizing that's not actually a sentence. I said that I definitely get the grape soda and orange juice notes. It's true to the description, but it's sweet in a smelled a glass of pop that's been outside in the sun during a picnic for 2 hours sort of way. I.e., it's somewhat dull or flat, and it's not necessarily sweet in the way that I tend to enjoy things. Next is the scent Tsar, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are masculine yet sweet, tobacco, and Russian leather drip with honeyed vanilla. I said as described. This scent started out very honey forward, but over time it mellowed out to a quite androgynous, smoky honey scent. I quite liked it after it had developed. Next is Bluebird Wings, which I rated 5 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are a freshly laundered cotton dress, blueberries, gardenia, and fig. I said that this scent is fresh, but it has an unpleasant astringentness to it that I don't like and can't quite put my finger on. Next is the scent Broody Guy, which I have not yet been able to sample, but I'll tell you the notes anyways. This one smells like a cake, sweet, delicious cake with buttercream frosting. Unisex because who doesn't like a guy who smells like a bakery? Which is basically my MO. A woman who smells like a bakery. Next is the scent Can't Go to Mexico, which I rated 3 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are a tall Mexican Coke with a couple of limes squeezed in, garnished with cactus blossom. I said I did not like this at all. I can definitely smell the cactus blossom, and it's softly sweetened by the Coke notes. It's both spicy and sweet, but not in a pleasant way. Next is the scent Candy Pants, which I rated 8 out of 10, and I might full size. The notes are candy corn, fluffy marshmallow, and the mixed up scent of the myriad other candies received from a night trick-or-treating. I said this scent is a combination of delicious sugary items. It's pretty basic, but it's nice and sweet. Next is Caramelcore, which I received as a free sample. I rated it 7 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are a thick layer of caramel on a crisp, juicy apple with a hint of nutty toffee and an even smaller hint of chili. I said this scent definitely gives fall vibes. It smells very much like sweet caramel apples with a little something extra. Next is Cloud City Auxiliary Reception Committee, which I have not yet sampled, but I have smelled it, and I'll tell you the notes first. The notes are smell like a puffy Cloud City, cotton candy, marshmallows, and a hint of fruity sweetness that you just can't quite place. In the bottle, this smells absolutely incredible, so I'm really excited for this one. Next is the scent Hey McFly, which I rated 7 out of 10, and I do not want to full size. The notes are inspired by old 50s ice cream parlors. This scent mixes fuzzy cola and root beer with sweet shop vanilla to create a surprisingly unisex/masculine end result. I said this scent is interesting. It definitely has a unisex vibe to it, but I can't quite place why. It almost smells like it has the slightest amount of musk. Overall, this is a different take on the root beer/vanilla combo, but ultimately I like scents that are sweeter than this. Next is the scent Not the Bees, which I rated 9 out of 10, and I do want to full size it. The notes are a lovely sweet confection of candied honey and honeysuckle, punctuated by citrus and underscored with smooth vanilla. I said, this was a delightful surprise. It gives gourmand honey while still being sweet and feminine. This is overall a really enjoyable honey scent. Honey is one of those notes that I think my skin tends to amplify, and so often if perfume has honey as a note, that's like all it smells like. But this was like that, but in a enjoyable way. Next is the scent Peacock, which I have not yet sampled. The notes are a thick graham cracker crust, a decadent banana cream pie topped with tart blueberries. Next is Song in My Heart, which I've also not yet sampled. The notes are a thick slice of Black Forest cake, ganache and thick cream, stuffed with blood red cherries, darkly delicious. Next is the scent Unicorn Collector, which I rated 3 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are bubbly and bright tangerine strawberries nestled in creamy Tahitian vanilla and tonka bean. Pretty much the fruitiest, girliest scent to ever exist. I said, I don't really get any vanilla or tonka bean from this. I get a very fresh, almost tart / astringent grapefruit note, and that's about it. Next is the scent Veronica, which I rated 9 out of 10, and I do want to full size it. And thinking about this now, I have a very distinct memory of this perfume, and although I rated it 9, I actually think it might be a 10. The notes are, yep, she's a marshmallow, a big sugared pink marshmallow with just a hint of blood. Orange, that is. Pixie spy magic in every drop. Feminine. I said, this scent is incredible. It's like slightly spicy and yet sweet. It's so difficult to describe, but I love it. I very much remember smelling like my clothes the day after I'd worn this, and they just smelled so good. So good. Lastly is the scent Witch's Brew, which I received as a free sample. I rated this 4 out of 10, and I do not want to full size it. The notes are, looks like this witch is just brewing wine, incense, Bordeaux, and Merlot. Simple but very rich. I said, I don't get any incense from this at all. I can somewhat smell the alcohol notes, but overall I get a sweet cherry medicinal smell. So those are all the perfumes that I've tried from Smelly Yeti. In terms of my experience with customer service / turnaround time, I purchased from them on September 27th and they shipped October 21st. I think at the time I had purchased during a particular sale that was going on, and I think the stated turnaround time might have been like 3 or 4 weeks. So I think they did ship within that turnaround time, but it was definitely a longer turnaround time than I was used to. I'll also mention, for any Canadians watching this video, Smelly Yeti is the only perfume house that I've ordered from in which I had to pay import taxes on the package. I've literally never experienced that, and my order from them was also on the smaller side. I can't remember exactly how much it was, but it must have just been over like $100, I think. So I don't know if I just had bad luck that day or whatever, but I did have to pay import taxes on it, which was kind of annoying, but I get it. In terms of who I think this perfume house is good for, I think the house in general kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if it's just because they have a perfume called Veronica, but I think of like Archie comics. So many of their scents have like pop notes to it, like soda. And so I think of like a soda shop and like Archie and Betty and Veronica and Jughead drinking malts and like ordering hamburgers. That's kind of like the vibe that I get from them, in a very like old-fashioned, sweet kind of way. All of that said, Smelly Yeti has been saying that they're going out of business for several years now. Like, I purchased, I believe it was back in 2022, and at that time, the aforementioned sale was supposed to be their like going out of business sale, but they didn't go out of business, which is great. I'm not like cheering for their demise, but I believe they were having a child, and then they had like another sale because they didn't sell all of their stock, but then they like made a new collection and had another sale a few months later, and now like you can't currently buy from them, but they said that they will reopen one more time. So if you do want to order from them, I would recommend doing so at the earliest possible time, because I suspect that they will stop selling at some point within the near future. It seems like at the very least that's their intent. I do just want to mention that because I have a few perfumes here. There were 3 that I would like to or am considering full sizing. So I'm kind of checking for that to see if and when they come back. But it is just something to keep in mind that it's possible they won't reopen. It's possible they will. I'm just not really sure. So I think that's all that I had to talk about today as it pertains to Smelly Yeti. Before you go, I'd really appreciate it if you liked, commented, and subscribed to my channel. If you've tried Smelly Yeti, I would love to hear from you. If you could tell me any perfume that you've tried from them that I didn't mention that you would recommend, I would love to see if I could get it as a sample. Before I go, I'd like to take a minute to thank you for taking time out of your day to spend watching this video. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.